Hey there, and welcome to day one of our ab challenge. Now for this routine today, we're going to be going through some movements that are really going to focus on activating that transverse abdominis muscle. So if you read the email, you have a better understanding as to what that transverse abdominis muscle is, and it's also going to allow us to really activate those pelvic floor muscles too. So really making sure that everything is tight and stable within the core as we go through these movements. Now you're also going to notice these movements that we're doing, they may seem like they're very, very simple movements, but just know they are extremely effective in allowing us to really work the core, all right? There will be a video modification next to the main movement as we're going through these exercises. So let's get started. So for these exercises today, we're going to be heading down to the ground for the whole time, so grab your mat and let's get comfortable. So we're going to start on our back for some dead bugs. Now for this, you want to lay down so that your back is completely flat, abs are going to be tight, and that you don't have that arch opening in between the floor and the back. So you want to maintain that position by tucking the hip forward and tightening those abs, and that's how you're going to maintain that for the whole movement of this exercise here. All right, so the goal is to not allow that back to raise up and arch like this. All right, so tighten everything, the knees going over the hips, the hands are going over the chest. Then you're going to move opposite arm, opposite leg, keeping the core tight. Straighten out the leg, straighten out the arm behind you, left leg, right arm. Come back to the starting position and switch sides, right arm, left leg. Keeping the core tight and maintaining that flat back the whole time. We're going to do 20 of these, okay? So just breathe as you do this. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Inhale on the way down, exhale on the way up. Now, because the goal is to really activate the transverse abdominis, we are not going to rush through this exercise. Like I said, these seem like very simple movements, but I want you to move very slowly, control your movement, really focus on what I've been saying about keeping that back flat up against the ground. So that way, you work the abs more. You're going to feel a burn in the abs if you're doing this properly. So keep that core tight. Make sure you're breathing as you do this. We're going to do 3 more. We're going to do 2 more. We're going to do 1 more. All right, and that was 20. The next exercise in this round is fire hydrant. Now for this, we're going to maintain a flat back. So just like you maintained a flat back on the ground, we're going to be in all fours in what's called a quadruped position. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. You want to flatten out the back. So in order to find that flat position, you're going to arch the back, you're going to round the back, and then try to find that happy medium where you're really activating that core here. So from here, you're just going to reach the leg out to the side while the knees bent, lifting up as high as you can without compromising the form. So when I mean compromise the form, I mean you're not lifting and trying to go higher than what your body can do by shifting your hips out. You want to keep your hips square to the ground. You want to keep your whole entire trunk square to the ground without moving the trunk, okay? So keep the body square and only lift the knee up, lower it back down. Lift up and lower down. So for these, we're going to do 12, okay? Make sure you continue to keep the core tight when you're here. We really want to activate the glutes and tighten those abs when you're just holding this position. So we're doing 12 on each side. This is 9. This is 10. We're going to do 2 more. 1 more. Good. And then we're going to switch sides with the same thing on the other side. So I'll let you guys see what I'm doing. Face the other direction, hands underneath the shoulder. Once again, arch the back, round the back, find that neutral spine, keep that core tight, and lift the knee out to the side. Just breathe as you do this. Exhale on the way up, inhale on the way back down. Nice and control the movements, okay? It's all about activating that transverse abdominis muscle. Almost there. This is 10, we have 2 more. Make sure you're breathing, 1 more. All right, and now we're gonna go into our bird dogs, okay? So with the bird dog, we're setting up the same way in that quadruped position, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Keeping the core tight, flattening out the back to do your arch, do your round, find that neutral spine position, really engage the abs when you're here. And for this, opposite arm, opposite leg, you're just gonna reach. And then you're gonna come back to the starting position. So not in the center and crunching. You wanna maintain this flat back position the whole time. We're gonna do 12 on one side at a time, and then we're gonna switch sides. So here, reach, come back down. Reach, come back down. Reach, back down. Reach, reach. Keep that core tight. Once again, it's not about the speed, it's about the control. All right, try not to lose the form. We have 3 more, 2 more, 1 more. All right, relax. Now we're gonna do the other side. Keep the core tight, opposite arm, opposite leg. Reach, come back down. Reach, come back down. There you go. So I have my left arm going, my right leg going. I'm just trying to straighten out my leg as far as it can go. So with this exercise, just remember, so it's not about how high you can get your leg up, it's about just reaching it back. Okay, so just extending that leg for 2 more, 1 more. Good. So with that, you want to make sure that the goal isn't about lifting up as high as you can, because once you start doing that, you'll start to compromise that form and arch the back. And then at that point, we fall out of that core control, and that's not the goal here. The goal is to really engage those abdominal muscles. All right, so the next exercise in this round is going to be your clam dip. So this is going to allow us to really work the glutes while we're keeping everything tight. So I'm going to have you set up so that your elbow is underneath the shoulder. So I'm starting with my right elbow underneath the shoulder. My hand's going to be flat, and I'm straightening out my legs so that it's aligned with the body. From here, I'm keeping my knees aligned with the hips and the shoulders as I bend my feet back. So if you notice, I don't bring my hips back during this. I'm keeping everything forward and everything aligned. Now, I'm gonna lift my hip up to the ceiling, keep my foot on top of the other, and just bring my knee up, down, and then lower it back down. I'm gonna do that again. I'm still maintaining this tight core. Lifting up, out, in, down. Up, out, in, down. So we are gonna be doing 12 of these, okay? Just breathe. We're gonna do 7 more on this side. Keep that core tight. Yeah. 3 more. There you go. 2 more. 1 more. Good. All right. And then we're gonna switch legs or switch sides. So same setup. Left arm underneath the left shoulder. Legs are completely straight, hip forward. I'm bending at my knees to get my feet back, but my knees, hips, and shoulders are all in a straight line when I'm here. So I'm keeping everything tight. I'm gonna lift the hip up to the ceiling, bring the left knee up and out, down, down, up, knee up, down, down, up, knee up, down, down, up, knee up, down, down. Here we go. 7 more. Good. 6 more. Keep that core tight the whole time. Good. 4 more. 3 more. 2 more. 1 more. All right, so last exercise is a plank. We are gonna head down to the floor, and we're gonna go into 30 seconds of the plank. So to set up with the plank, your elbows are gonna go underneath the shoulders. Now I want your hands to be flat. This way you're not focusing on clenching your fists so tightly, okay? You're gonna have them nice and relaxed, nice and loose as you hold this position. So I'm gonna have you set up so that your hips are tucked forward and that they're aligned with your shoulders. So this way you're not focusing on sticking the butt up or dropping the hips so low. You really want to make sure that your hips are tucked forward and that you're aligned with the shoulders. So here we go. We're going to go for 30 seconds with the knees off the ground and just breathe. So just focus on your breathing when you're in this position. Your feet should be hip width apart. You should be activating that core. So those abs should be tight when you're here. You should even be tightening up those glutes too to really try to keep those hips in the correct position. We only have 10 more seconds here. So when you're doing the next 2 rounds, if you're not going through this video again, just make sure that you have your timer ready so that you're doing this properly. And relax. All right, guys, so that was day 1. We just completed the first round. So make sure that you guys are getting at least 3 to 4 rounds of this. So you just completed 1. You got a few more to go, all right? So let's do this. Let's hit this. You've got this.